Good evening everybody and welcome to the studio this evening. And the one thing I forgot to do is change glasses. Dear, I nearly always forget something and it's usually the glasses, but good evening and welcome. It's Friday night. No, unless you're English, was it 5 to 5 and it's crackerjack. Obscure history there for you. Is it 5 to 5? Yeah, something like that. I can't remember the actual jingle. Crackerjack. And we also have a stream visitor this evening. We have the Chunky Junior sat here in the background just to make life awkward. Well, yeah, well, it makes doing chain work a little bit awkward, but he's a pussy cat. Right, actually, you know, I am just going to turn that down a little bit. It's a little bit loud here in the studio. I don't know what it sounds like on stream, by the way, the music in the background. If it's too loud, let me know. I don't mind turning it down. It's just there, so that if I stop talking, it doesn't go dead silent. So I'm actually going to do some more silver work, and we're going to do a box chain. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. It's formed a chain all of its own. There we go. It takes me about a couple of minutes to do that as a proper chain. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Actually, I want 48, but that's 50. So I'm going to just try. I'm going to make a bracelet about 7.5 inches. I reckon I need about 50 of those, so we'll and about 50 of these. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50. You wouldn't believe at one time I could do things like counting 36s and 18s and 22s and 24s, would you? Because that's a long time ago. I used to work in a supermarket and I did stock taking, and you count boxes of like cat food, which are in 36s. I shall turn it down, Clever Book. Thank you. And who says? How do I? Oh, I just do that, don't I? We'll turn it down a bit like that. You didn't miss anything. I just felt generous. It's coming up to, well, a bit late for Mother's Day, but it's coming up to Easter, so I'm feeling generous, amongst other things. But there you go. Take advantage whilst it lasts. I'm looking for pliers. Junior, who slept on the desk last night, and in sleeping on the desk, everything is all over the place. So there's a pair of pliers. I'm looking for. Right, let me sort things out. So how are you doing, Claire? I haven't seen you around all week. I'm trying to build up a little bit of stock, so I keep trying to get stuff in the store. I've got pretty things. Don't know if I can tempt you. Do sets now. Bracelet. I can't hold 3 things at once, and she doesn't wear jewellery. Oh, that's a pity. It's been rather quiet on Twitch, and this past week. So I was going to say I've got sparklies, and I've got titanium jewellery. Thank you very much. I hope I'll get them on the shop either today or tomorrow, but titanium to go with this one's 8-inch, but a titanium bracelet, half Persian, 3-in-1. And I've got actually to go with these, I don't have it just with me at the moment, but I do have matching bracelet and necklace, 18-inch necklace. Yeah, the titanium, it's nice. It is nice. I kind of like it. It's a real dusky colour, but it's, when you look at it, depending on the angle of the light, it changes colour slightly. It's a slightly chameleon look. But boy, is it hard to work. Titanium, it's a really strong metal. You can twist it reasonably easily, but when you try and bend it to close the rings, it made my hands sore. I need a pair of ergonomic flat nose pliers. You can't grasp newies at the moment. I was about to. Oh, words to that effect. I don't know. I don't seem to be too bad at it. Although with the titanium one here, I had a small test length that I extended, and it took me about an hour to work out how to start the extended bit. It would have been quicker to start again, or take it apart and start again. But it's a nice piece, is that? But it's also in small rings as well, and I think small rings always look cute as well. Oh, that's where my pen went. And I do have some more of those. That's good. Because what I wanted to do was something. Oh yes, I was thinking of trying a 6-in-1 European weave with silver rings. Don't have a clasp for it though, but anyway, where's my opening ring? There it is. You've tried half Persian. I am sorry. I'm sorry to laugh, but I understand the pain. What were you trying to do, the 3-in-1 or the 4-in-1? I understand the pain of that. Yeah, we'll open these. You tried both? Okay. They are one of the hardest that I've tried to start. Is the half Persians. They are a real pig. Which is a daft saying in a way, because pigs are quite nice. Lady Zara loves pigs. They're beautiful, yes. But when you mess up the start of a half Persian It's not beautiful. It's a big pile of rings that are all just joined together somehow that you have got no idea how to sort out. I kind of suggest laying them on the desk and trying to, once you get about 8 rings joined, then it's stable and you'll be okay from then on. But those first 8, if you drop it, they go all over the place. In fact, I'd kind of be inclined for you to, if you were trying it, is to sort of stick them down with sellotape. Or take sellotape and put the rings in the right place on sellotape. So, and then obviously fold it over so it holds it together, and then try and feed your other side through, so it holds them in place, because it's holding those first 3 or 4 in place whilst you weave the others through. That's the real pain. If you can hold those in place until you go stable, then you'll be okay. And Cleverbug says, hello, Lady Zara. Actually, she says, hey, Lady Zara. You might try Dragon Scale. Yeah. It probably is. It's still an awkward one to start. Is Dragon Scale. I would highly suggest you do it on the desk, lay it on the desk, and because you've got to start by. You've kind of got to start with sort of 3 separate lengths of chain to get and sort of weave them together to start with. It's a little bit awkward to get it started, or I found it. So I haven't found a simple way of starting that yet. But there again, I've only done a couple of Dragon Scale, so I know the first when I tried that, I took it apart twice. In fact, if you were watching, you probably saw it on stream. Helm flowers. Yeah, most of the helm flower is easy. Well, I was about to say is easy, but the way in which you're suggesting that, as in tried, kind of suggests that you didn't succeed. I tell you what I didn't. Sorry, I'm just thinking now. There was somebody that was going to stream today. I've forgotten their name. They were going to show some robotics work, I think it was, or LED, or even some beadwork. And I don't recall. I don't think they did stream, or not up to the point where I just checked. Sorry, my brain just went off on a little journey by itself. Oh dear. Well, I'll tell you what. Once you get the hang of candy cane, then show her that one. She's got respect for you doing the helm flower. Candy cane has got to rank there somehow. Although you and I will both know that the half Persian was harder. I am lucky now with the half Persians. I can do those straight off. I didn't. Oh. I was about to say I didn't see any French, and then I did. It's actually one of these, and this is one of the things I like about chainmail is it looks the patterns look more complex than they are. I mean, they're not easy to do, as you know, and it does take skill to do. And I'm not disparaging that at all, but the weaves, a lot of the weaves do look a lot more complicated than what they are. And candy cane is one that looks a lot more complicated. And if you do it using one colour, it's a bit easier. Because candy cane has a spiral in it, but if you use it using one colour, you can't see the spiral really as such, so it kind of doesn't matter if you mess up the spiral. Your brain doesn't like candy cane. I guarantee that one day you will try it. The only, well, I was about to say the only thing, but there's two things that stop me trying lots of other weaves. One is buying the rings in the first place. You know, money is not something that I've got a lot of, especially at the moment. The other thing is getting the rings. Sometimes they have some real weird aspect ratios to some of them. There's some full Persian ones I'd love to try, some of the pattern variations, but they need a sort of a fairly weird aspect ratio, which just sort of isn't generally available, or at least not over here in the UK. It might be available in the States, or from the ring lord or something, but importing rings is not a cheap thing. Which is it? Okay, I'll flip the camera if you like. That's my right hand. Yeah, it doesn't. It makes it, and yet that works. That's why I flip the camera, because I can do that. If I don't flip the camera, he says, it's a global source. Is this one? Properties. No, not that one. Flip it that way. There you go then. But then when I want to, I've got to sort of try and work out what to do now. You see, like that. That's not as easy. But I shall let you have the camera the right way round. You see, I was treating it like a mirror. Now it's backwards, so it's not a mirror like. There you go. Completely strange and random fact. I don't know if you recall Paul Daniels, the magician. When he first started doing television, he couldn't do his magic tricks. He kept doing them all wrong. And one of the things that magicians do, or did do, I assume they still do, is practice their tricks in front of a mirror. And when he started on television, and he had the studio monitor screens in front of him, he was treating him like a mirror. But a studio monitor is a television, and it reverses the image. And so he kept, if he was going to hide something with his hands, he kept moving his hands the wrong way and revealing what he was trying to hide, and he couldn't get his brain around it. And the BBC, because I think it was on the BBC, actually built special monitors for him where they reversed the image on the monitor so it worked like a mirror, and therefore he could do his show without the whole thing falling apart. So there, fun fact for you. Of course, these days I guess magicians or whoever probably practice using webcams and things like that, video these days, so it probably isn't a problem. But you see all these weird things that you never knew, and probably never wanted to either. I am just taking these rings apart. It's a little bit easier to do them at this stage than it is to do them a little bit later on. Rather than sort of open them to close them and still have to take them apart, I'm taking them apart first, and then we'll close them up, and then I'll do a box chain, or a partial box chain. Come on, thank you. You know, it takes. I got when I was getting these out of the. I can't remember which one it is. Is it? No. When I was getting these out of the bag, this particular 19 gauge, it came out, or one length came out with about 20 rings all in a chain. And I thought, you know what? If I was making one of the Simply collections out of silver, what I'd have done at that point was just quickly close all of them, and my job was done. Okay, Claybook. Yeah, go get your tea. I had mine just before the stream, although Lady Zara did tempt me with some sponge cake, but you know, I thought I'll stream for you people out there, and I shall forego the sponge cake probably till a bit later, or I never know, I might not even get the chance. It might disappear magically into thin air, just like Paul Daniels. I was just trying to think of his catchphrase then. Was he the one with the you like it, not a lot? Yeah. We'll sit down. Not that type of, well, it is that type of sponge cake, but it's in they come in a microwave pot with like jam on the top, so it's more like a sponge pudding, but it is a sponge pudding, not a sponge cake. Am I correct? Sponge pudding? Yeah, sponge pudding. So you microwave it, turn it upside down, take the top off, and treacle, or that's the UK treacle golden syrup, or jam smothers it, or chocolate even. Now you want all three, don't you? Now you're wishing you had some in the fridge. That sort of thing doesn't work on me though. Oh dear. Right, let me close these rings, and then I shall get to weaving them together. I don't think you're actually, unfortunately, well, fortunately, unfortunately, whichever way you want to look at it, I don't think you're that close, Clary. I think you're down. I recall you down Bristol way. Lady's Head, get the kettle on. She doesn't drink tea or coffee, so the kettle rarely enters her thoughts. Sorry. I've heard of Surrey, and I know it's south of Yorkshire. Oh yeah, south of London. Thank you, Lady Zara. My geography, yeah, which is daft because I've got a good sense of, or reasonably good sense of direction, but my geography is terrible. I knew it was south, I just didn't know where south. Yeah, Croydon. That's right, I remember now. Croydon. Never leave Croydon on a Friday night to go north, on a Friday lunchtime to go north on the M1. I learnt that once. I left at 12 o'clock and hit the M1 at 8 PM at night. I also, over the years, learnt it's quicker to go around the M25 than it is to go through central London, even though it's only 12 miles across central London and about 70 when you go around the M25. Used to spend quite a bit of time in Croydon, well, in or around Croydon, when I worked in sales. I lost my car there once. When I just joined sales, I'd gone down to Croydon for the first time, and I'd gone out for an evening meal with one of the sales account managers, and we'd both parked up in. No, he'd taken my car because he was going on the train. We parked up, and no, it was a company car, and packed the car up, went and had a meal. He went and got on at the train station. Well, you know, it's in the town centre, and I walked back to where the car was, only it wasn't. I could not find that car. I was beginning to think it had been stolen, and the account manager sort of was from Croydon area, so I was trying to get hold of him to say, where did we leave the car, just in case it hadn't been stolen. When I came across this road, and I thought, that looks familiar, and then just down the car. So it took me about a couple of hours to find my car. Yeah, Southend in Essex. Southend I've heard of. Essex, meh. I've heard of Essex, but you know, I know it's not out of Mongolia, but that's about it. East of London. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I've been up towards East Anglia and Ipswich quite a bit, but 62 miles. There you go. I wasn't too bad. I said 70. What did I say? Oh, well, whatever it was I said. I don't know. I don't do that journey these days. I actually used to quite like the journey from Croydon down to straight down to the coast. I forgot what the town is now at the bottom. Brighton, yeah, Brighton. That used to be quite a nice journey, as long as you weren't doing it at night. Brighton, yeah, it is Brighton. Yeah. My geography is challenged. You do 7 junctions. I wouldn't get Ladies Hour to do 1 junction, so. Whilst I don't think it's ever particularly happened, and it's really anecdotal. Of course, the description it gets as the world's largest orbital car park sometimes seems really true. 3 hours delay today. Wow. I used to avoid it as much as possible, but Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday was never too bad, but Monday and Friday, forget it. I don't know how you guys down there sort of manage. I suppose you. I was about to make an assumption that you probably use the train more than cars going around there. I never worked out whether it was quicker to go clockwise or anti-clockwise around the M25. That's good. A pre-closed ring. Which chain is the bracelet on the slideshow before the gift bag? I don't know. Let's see if I can see the. I think it's just. I think it's drawing them from that. So. Misty Morning it's called. So if you look on the website, it's Misty Morning. It's half Persian. Half Persian 3 in 1. I believe anyway. I don't think it's doing if it's doing a random sequence, and I can't remember how I've set that up, then I don't have a chance of telling you. You like it? Oh, that's good. It's well, I like it. Obviously, it's pale blue and pink, you know, and I called it Misty Morning because it kind of does remind me of that. You know, because I used to see a lot when I was driving, and you just get that real pink glow first thing in the morning, and it's and with the half Persian being spread out a little bit more, it's it looks a little sort of well, misty, you know, because it's pale and it's sort of, I won't say it's not there, but you know what I mean. It's spaced out, and that's how that one got named. It just reminded me of those early morning drives. Yeah. In which case, yes, it was Misty Morning. I think that one's in. It's 1/4 inch rings. Can't actually recall. That one, however, is a lot more chunky. So if you like if people like chunky rings, that one bracelets. That's a real chunky one. But with something like that, make sure, because that's almost a bangle, so you don't want that too small or too tight. So if anybody was ever thinking of getting one of those, do size it correctly, because those neoprene rings, which let you slide it, expand to slide it on, are really strong, and they will hurt if you have it too small. Well, out of that, Clerrybug, you could just buy all your half Persian 3 in 1s from me. I'll quite happily make them for you. There you go. Moobot very nicely just popped in the message for the shop. Check it out, everybody, if you're at all interested in shiny jewellery. And it is shiny. It does stay well shiny. I know people think about sterling silver, but just to give you an illustration, one of these is sterling silver, one of them isn't. And just from what I've just said now, you can probably tell which one's which. This is sterling silver, and this is aluminium, shiny aluminium. And I wear these continuously, all the time. I could do you a wholesale deal of some kind, Clerrybug, I think. Did Jeff ever give you a discount coupon code, by the way? Or did that not come about in the end? True, they are, but I mean there's I mean the it's okay. You are correct. They are light, yes, but I know this sterling silver one is heavier than this. I'm wearing it now, and obviously I have been for quite some time. I'm not aware of the weight anymore. The only time I'm aware of the weight is when I literally pick one up off the desk. So again, I haven't got it, but I've got last night I completed a. So I'm just watching Junior try and curl up on the desk. I completed a Byzantine necklace, and it weighed quite a bit. Relatively speaking, you pick it up, it felt heavy. And then Lady Zara has a Byzantine sterling silver bracelet. When you pick that up, it's heavier. But once you've worn, once you're wearing them, you don't really notice it. So, okay. Now I can understand that. I mean, it's down to market size. Oh, do you mind? I'm moving stuff out of your way, or I'll put you on the floor. I can understand that. It's we're not big stream. Well, you're not. I'm not a big streamer, and neither are you. And so at the moment, it's not a large market for him. But right, I want to split these roughly in half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. There was 50, that's 48, so if I take 2 out of there, then that's the same. And I don't need to bother counting those because I'll work out. Yeah, he is. If he does something you do not like, it's bang straight away. He's not. He doesn't give. He does give warnings these days. At one time, he wouldn't have given a warning. It would have been teeth. Oh, teeth and claws meant serious business. But these days, he does give warnings. But not always. Sometimes you just catch him like that. You just got to watch it. These days, if he doesn't quite like what you're doing, he has more of a tendency to just get up and go away than he ever used to. Oh, you lucky person. You lucky person. Now you're making me jealous. He says, trying to remember the price of them. You are a lucky person. And I'm feeling jealous now. All different colours, or the yeah, come along. And now I can't get that ring out. There we go. Yep, all the colours. That, oh, okay. A bit, they've gone up a bit. Gold and silver. That would fall apart, wouldn't it? Oh. Ah! Actually, what I'm going to do is do that, and if I put another one on the bottom of there, and if I can sort out where that's going, is that the bottom one? That's the bottom one, right. If I stick another one on the bottom of there, that should at least make it a bit easier. And where's my little twist? There it is. No, all silver. Strictly speaking, at this moment in time, it's personal Panda. Good evening. Welcome to the stream. Right, there we go. How's that? There you go. Lock. Come on, lock yourself into place. Thank you very much. Yeah. Okay. And you're right. Okay. Let's go. I hadn't noticed that. But thank you. I was trying to be a little bit quick. The only thing is, you get somebody now will try and put the apostrophes in, but okay, Panda, that's okay. You did put the sudden thought, what's the motive for the question? Oh dear. But good evening. Now corrected my spelling mistakes, and thanks very much for letting me know, Clary. Oh dear. I hate starting box chain for the very reason it's not stable for a while. And I've just done something that I keep forgetting to do. I want to put 2 of these silver rings on there first before I close that. There we go. Surprisingly, I think one of my favourites to make are probably the 4 in 1/2 Persian or candy cane. To be honest, in pure chain anyway. Things like the hearts here are quite fun to make as well, but they're a little bit of a pig to feed the crystals on. But yeah, it's all part of it. You're making box chain. You're making little sections of box chain. You're just alternating them backwards and forwards. Yeah. Right. Okay. Come back here, you. They're jumping rings. Mexican jumping rings. They're trying to get away. Okay, Panda, how are you finding it? You doing it with anodized aluminium, or you trying some of the more difficult metals? And what have you tried so far? I'd be guessing Byzantine, because I think most people do start with Byzantine. But I don't know. You may have you may have gone from beginner to expert in nothing flat. Don't mix the rings. Bit like Ghostbusters. Don't cross the streams. I split it into 2 piles for a reason. Yeah, YouTube's not a bad source. Did I just really put only one? No, I did put 2 on. Sometimes though, it's some of the websites are a little bit better to learn from, because as long as they show you good pictures, because it gets quite hard to pause video to YouTube video to take a look at it and see. I mean, if I was to show you a video of that, and it makes it really difficult to see how the rings are woven through. Yeah, I can't remember what I was doing. I stopped the stream, didn't I, and changed completely for about half an hour. That's because you were trying to do box chain the hard way. Oh, you didn't tell me that, Clary Bug. Um, Panda 1121. It it can be worth finding a reliable source of rings and a reputable source of rings, even if they are a little bit more expensive. Clary Bug there will probably attest to the fact in that she was having some problems with rings, and it was down to cheap rings. Because some suppliers they don't use standard sizes, they don't wind them very well, they don't cut them particularly cleanly and things like that. So um, it's worth sort of, if you are looking for really cheap sources, to shop around, take a look at a few, just buy a few and see how they are before you buy lots. Otherwise, you end up wasting a lot of them. I don't think, apart from red, which is a notoriously difficult colour for, I don't think I've ever thrown a ring away. No, that's not true. I was about to say for it being malformed. I've had the odd end of run ring, but I could probably count the number of rings I've actually had to throw away on my hands. Mm. A lot of the gut stuff seems to actually come from the States, Panda. I don't know where you are in the world, but the ring lord in the States is kind of one of the premier suppliers in the world for high quality rings, and a lot of in Europe I know a lot of the shops that sell rings actually import them from the States. So whether they come from the ring lord is another matter. It's not worth it, Panda. Okay. Because if you get, let's say you get, well, I'm doing a box here with two different sizes of rings. Okay. Let's say they varied in size, then that wouldn't look very good, and you start thinking you've done something wrong, and it might be bent, or it might just not look very well. It might twist because of the wrong sized rings, or the design may fall apart because the aspect ratio isn't quite right, and then you're throwing it away. It's not usable. It's not something you want to show somebody or something like that. Whereas if you have decent quality rings, there's a couple of things about it. One is you end up with a piece that, it might take you a while, but you end up with a piece that looks okay and you can be quite proud of, and it doesn't fall apart. I mean, these in here, for example, the bottom two rings tend to fall apart. That's just the nature of this. You can see them there moving up and down. That's the nature of the weave. But if some of the top ones were slightly larger, this whole weave would tend to just drop apart. So it can be like a false economy, because then what you've got a problem with as well is if you're using poor quality rings, you don't know if it breaks. For example, was it because you applied too much force, or was it because the ring hadn't been annealed properly, or had it been overstressed, that sort of thing. And so it's a little bit harder to learn. I mean, it's not impossible or anything like that, and you know, it depends on the price that you're paying for rings, but yeah. I'm guessing in that case, Panda, it's you. I'm not dropping. No, I'm not dropping any frames. So in theory, it's all going out. I do say in theory because I'm not monitoring my own sound. But if Clarybug there isn't having a problem, then unfortunately it's something in the path to you. Whilst it's something whilst it's something I learned not from making rings. You have to be careful, a little bit careful with cheap materials. They're usually cheap for a reason. So as long as you understand the reason, you're okay. You know, the reason might be they sell tens of millions of the things and therefore they're cheap. It might be cheap because they're skimped on something. As long as you understand it, you're okay. Generally speaking, for things like tools, for example, and I know it particularly with the chisels. If you buy a cheap chisel, you get a cheap tool. You get something that doesn't actually perform very well for very long. That, for example, is one case where paying a little bit more actually is worth it. Bead Sisters is one place that sell those Clarybug. No, they don't. they have a section, but they don't have any. I think they did get some at one point, but then decided it wasn't worth it for them. You have to think very carefully doing claspless designs, Clary, because you've got to work out which rings to weave and which ones not to. Yeah, so the open and closed rings. You can't open a neoprene ring, or rather, you can, but you can't close it again afterwards. And so weaving wise, you've got to sort of think fairly carefully about, you know, which ones are which, and it actually means that some designs you can't actually weave at all. But then when it comes to actually completing the weave in the full circle, that is fun with a capital half Persian. It's your Chinese suppliers, they're sabotaging the stream, Panda. Is this a talent or a trait skill you've learnt? You've learnt a skill. It's a craft skill. Talent refers to how easily you pick up and use that skill. So you know, when people say, generally speaking, when people say you have a talent for it, they're describing how easily you use the skill. You know, you make it look easy, you've got a talent for it. Or you started 10 minutes ago and already you're designing jumbo jets, you know you've got a talent for it. You pick it up really quickly. So you've learnt a skill. It's a craft skill. You're crafting, and you know, yes, it's a trade skill as well, if you want to put it that way. It is something which is tradable. Okay. He has got them, had them before, I know. Because oh blimey, my brain's gone. I am now busily trying to remember the name of the other streamer that I don't know if he's watching. That inspired me to try this, and I've forgotten his name. That's not very good. But I know he got some from Jeff. Sorry, I meant you, not me. Okay. Oh, for the Triska. Same answer, really. I saw somebody doing this on here on stream, and I thought that looks interesting. It looks fun to try and do, and I did, and I made 2 presents. I got 2 kits to start with. Actually, I made 3 presents out of 2 kits. That wasn't bad going, and enjoyed doing it, and I've carried on. But it sort of plays to my interest in designing and making things. I am trying to say this is 7.5 inches, so I want 7, so I want 3.5 inches, so I want about 3 and a bit inches, so this is a bit short. I need about another inch, so I need about another 12. Yeah. Dear. Well, you're possibly right there, Clever Bug. I mean, I was talking about magic earlier. 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I completely miscounted these. Where would you get kits from? I kind of, well, I wasn't sure, Claire. I mean, you might have taken it with you, the phone, but one place to look could be, I'm trying to think who does kits. Actually, Eddie does. Do they? I don't know about Hobbycraft, Claire. There is a streamer that was going to a guy. I remembered his name, Eddie Fall Guy, who was going to start selling some kits. I don't know if he ever did. He was last time I saw him on stream. He was talking about doing the instructions for it. So that would be one place. The other one that I can think of that sells decent quality kits is a place called Purple Moon Beads. I think it's Purple Moon Beads. Yeah, thanks, Claire. Yeah, Jeff. So that, yeah, and they're his rings are a good quality. You get enough rings. You still need you've got your pliers anyway, I guess, so you don't need those. But he does good quality kits. I haven't seen him on for a while. He's not been streaming for a while, Claire. Well, I mean, because he was in my stream the other night, and he's not been doing it for a while. I think his circumstances are changing a little bit. I am gonna have to seriously think about getting a visor, I think. Yeah, I used to enjoy watching the lunchtime streams. Box chain, it's not the fastest of chains to make. I seem to have slowed right down as well. I don't know, well, I guess partly talking a lot doesn't help, but I seem to have slowed right down doing chains. I must be really out of practice, but I find box now quite a slow chain to do. Okay, Claire. Fair enough. Tea is an important thing. Go get your tea. Yeah. Right. Junior, you're now right in front of the chat window. Oh dear. So, have I damaged that ring? Nope, I haven't. That's good. Usually that's the only reason I throw rings away these days, is because I've snapped the pliers off them and damaged them like. And now I've managed to not put that through the weave. Junior, you're pushing things off the desk again. Clever Book says good night, Lady Zara. Good night. And Fluffy Book. He's too busy washing himself at the moment. He doesn't care. But Lady Zara says, not Lady Zara. Clever Book says good night to you, Junior. She does. He's not interested. You are not of interest to him, Clever Book. And why did that? Let me push that again. Yeah. And there's the join, so I can now split that ring apart again. And put those two on it, and then I can fold them. I do wish cats would not push things away from them when they decide to curl up. He's watching me. He's watching me with... Yeah. You do really. You do really. He's all cute and fluffy, and you have to see. I can't turn the camera around, but he's actually no, I can't. I can't turn the camera around because it'll move the cord, which will annoy him, and he'll. But he's all curled up and got his paws tucked under, and his head's all. Oh dear, they can be sometimes. Harry Book says night night, Junior. He's asleep now, doesn't care. Go get your tea, Clary Book. Otherwise it'll be 2 o'clock in the morning. Actually it won't, because in half an hour I'll be stopping, so you'll get your tea then. Unless you find somebody else that's streaming, that is. Okay, Claybook. Well, hopefully I'll be around. Depending on what happens tomorrow, but we shall see. It's a weekend, so anything can happen on the weekend. Bye. Yuck, come on. You rings are going to go where I want you to go, so you might as well do it now. Right. I want another 2 on there, but I'm going to put those on. Just loose. And now yeah, I can do it that way. So what I'm going to do now is reverse the box, hopefully. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to see how long this is, because if it's not long enough, I don't want to reverse the box at this point. Well, I suppose I can, because I can always extend it from the other end, but no, that's about right. So we'll reverse the box. Oh, will I? I will do, but then I'll have a think about it. I do want to reverse the box, but I'm just thinking about how to do the join in the middle. I was thinking about doing not a half Persian. I've got half Persian on the brain, a Byzantine block, which would generate the reversal, but it might also generate a 90-degree twist, which I don't actually want. So I do that. Put that through there. Yes, that's generated. So what I'm going to do is put another one on. If I put another one on, it'll do another 90-degree twist, and it will straighten out. So here we go, bracelet design on the fly. And if you can't find a fly, use a piece of paper. Generally speaking, it's actually better to use a piece of paper. Flies tend not to like you writing on them. Actually, having done this, I know this is now going to be longer than it needs to be, so I will end up having to shorten it a little bit, because I'll have just added almost an inch of 2 Byzantines. But one of the things I could have done here was change the colour as well. Think of all these things afterwards. I ought to start keeping a booklet for design ideas. Always a good idea, whether you're an artist or whatever, is if you have a little book you can write your ideas down on, and then you can come back to them afterwards, and when you're stuck you can just look through the book and go, ah! Right, so I now need to get out some more rings. So I just run 50 through there, so let's have another 40 out. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40. Make sure I seal the packet up, because otherwise I'll never tell which are which. I'm going to need some of those out as well, but I'll do those in a little bit. Where's my ring, Junior? Where's my opening ring? What have you done with it? Is it under your tail? No. You've done something with it, haven't you? Ah, well. Alright. Back to the pliers. Normally do this with my. I've got a ring that you put on. You can do it a lot quicker with the opening ring, but to do it a lot quicker with the opening ring, you need to be able to find it, and probably find it when there's not a pussycat laying on top of it. Some pussycats wouldn't mind you looking for it underneath them. Some pussycats would get up and go somewhere else. Junior will probably bite. Hence why I'm doing it using pliers. You have, haven't you? That's a reference to oh no. Is it really? Oh no, it's gone quiet, and I think it's just taking its time. The music had gone quiet. It's just taking its time loading the next one up. I thought it had crashed, but obviously not. Okay. I know a lot of people that would probably look at this and think this is a boring bit. It may well be a boring bit to watch, but when you're doing it, it just kind of passes. Time just sort of passes. It passes a lot quicker than you think. It's a sort of activity that people describe as being therapeutic, just because you kind of don't have to think while you're doing it. Yeah, that's not strictly true, of course, because you've got to work out where to pick up the ring, which way it wants to be in the pliers, put it in the pliers in the right place, and apply just the right amount of force to apply just the right amount of twist. All of that sounds really complicated, and it is when you first start, but as you get used to it, you just grab, squeeze and twist. Grab, squeeze and twist. What's that? I'm trying to think. There's a description that's a bit like that for a 4-stroke engine. What is it? Squeeze, bang. I don't know. I can't remember now. It's a 4-stroke engine. It's 4 cycles, and there's a squeeze, bang, blow, and something else. I can't remember. Squeeze, bang, blow, something. There you go. Complete trivia, or complete rubbish, whichever way you want to look at it. Right, almost done, and we'll start weaving the next bit. We'll actually weave the box chain backwards or upside down, whichever way you want to describe it. I'm doing this using asymmetric ring sizes, so it's not actually square, it's rectangular, but it is otherwise symmetric. You can do it either way around. But it will. One of the things is it, especially with using the 2 different ring sizes, is it will visibly look to have reversed. Right. So I put another one of these through here, which means I didn't get an odd number out, and I should have done, but never mind. Now then, at this point I just have to think. Yeah. At this point I need to have these the other way up, so rather than do that, by the other way up I mean close these and open them. But since I've opened those and they're already closed and I'm not going to open them, I'm actually going to start the weave again, and then I'll just join it on. No particular reason why you can't do that, so close that, put that through it, and then 2 of these. One, actually before I do that I'll close that up and put another one on it. That will make it easier to keep the rings in line. Put my little twisty on there. Okay, this will be a little bit unstable for a few rounds. It's not too bad. It kind of is stable at this point, but it does tend to fall apart a little bit easier at this stage until you get more rings in place. Okay, flip those two back. Having I used to use a cocktail stick, which is just as good as this spike, but having a sharp object like a cocktail stick, or this particular, it's a bead spike, does make doing this easier for just pushing between the weave like that to open up a space to put the ring through. It's that other cocktail stick, same thing, is a useful one. In fact, in some ways a cocktail stick is a little bit better, depending on the quality of your spike and how you use the spike, because a cocktail stick, being wood, is relatively soft. It's not metal on metal, so you're unlikely to scratch any rings using a wooden cocktail stick that you might do with a spike. If you're particularly heavy-handed with the spike, you might scratch rings. They're not that easy to scratch with something like this, but it is always possible. Aluminium rings are quite robust. They do resist scratching quite a bit, but if you do have them, it's a good idea, for example with aluminium jewellery like this, to keep it in something like an organza bag, so they don't rub against each other, because that's the most likely thing if you keep a jewellery case or something like that, where they might get damaged, especially if they rub against sort of gemstones like diamonds, for example. Obviously, as you may know, diamonds are one of the hardest materials in sort of general household use, at least, and if they've got sharp facets, then they could scratch aluminium jewellery. You're less likely to notice it on silver looking jewellery like this, or silver jewellery, because of course aluminium is silver underneath. These are actually anodized silver, so the aluminium itself, and it gets called bright aluminium, is actually not quite this colour, it's slightly different. But if you pick some of the darker colours like the green or black even, for example, and you scratch that, it will reveal the silver ring underneath. The anodizing is a dyeing process. It dyes the metal, so the colour sinks into the surface of the metal, but it doesn't completely saturate the metal. It just goes, into the very surface, so it is possible to scratch through the colour, but it takes quite a bit of effort or a sharp object. Yeah, something like a diamond in a bag or something like that. Or if you go scraping it down a wall. Which is something I wouldn't advise for any jewellery at all. There isn't much jewellery that would respond well to that sort of treatment. You have to say it that way because I don't actually know there isn't any, but there might well be. I'm guessing your average diamond wouldn't notice at all, but okay. We are going to need to close some more rings in a minute, he says, completely forgetting to put them on the thing. Right, let's get out. Oh, what? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Actually, that's 3, 6. 14, so I would want 14. He says 14 from 50. It's 46, 36 rings. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, and 1 makes 36. Now separate them. There's a good of places, isn't it? It's amazing how the there's a join in that ring somewhere, how the rings manage to link themselves together. They manage to do it in a pack, and to do it they have to get it exactly the right angle, which is the it's at a right angle coincidentally, but at exactly the right angle, which is what I've got to do to unlink them, and it takes me quite a bit of time to unlink them, and yet when they're in the pack by themselves they can link themselves together with no effort whatsoever. And this always still amazes me. If I was making a simple chain, half the work would have been done for me. I'd just take something like that and close up the gaps, and job done. It's slightly quicker doing unclasping all of them like this than it is to actually open them and then separate them and close up the gaps again. Plus, it puts less stress on the rings. Right, are these all split? Not quite. Couple more and it won't take too long to close these. They're all split, yeah, okay, so this is where you develop the skill, because you can do this fairly quickly. Once you've developed the skill, you know just quite how much to twist. With this thin wire, it does tend to stay in place. The thicker wire tends to drift. Once you've closed it, you sometimes have to go back over them and reclose them, because the wire has kind of a memory, and it has a tendency to drift back into the position it was in. So once you close them, and they sort of open again slightly, so sometimes you have to go back over. The thinner the ring, the less it does that. Exilian, good evening. Welcome to the studio this evening. I'm sorry I didn't see you for a little while there. Concentrating on what I'm doing rather than looking at the chat. How are you doing? Oops, sorry Junior. I should indeed keep looking at the chat. It's all week though, it's been somewhat sporadic and quite quiet, so I have a tendency to just ramble on for a little bit and then just check occasionally. You've been eating all kinds of goodies, celebrating Friday. Okay. Well, it's as good a reason as any to celebrate it being a Friday, and eating goodies is a good way of doing it. Just don't eat too many. You don't want to get too much overweight. So lots of things like chocolate cake and things like that, or crisps, or sweets, or I mean, for me, goodies would be things like raw cauliflower and broccoli and mushrooms, raw mushrooms, or even chili peppers. Eat more chips. Here we go, talking about eating food, and guess who pops up? Good evening, Eat More Chips. Maybe that's an instruction to Exilian on his celebrating Friday celebration. Glad I wasn't writing that. If I'd have been writing that, I'd have been looking for another word. Yeah, your ears were burning, I take it, yes. As long as it was your ears and not the chips, yeah. That's... Started with Chinese dinner. Oh, sounds nice. And beer. Chinese beer or local beer. That assumes, of course, you're not in China, where they would both be the same. Well, I was about to say I don't know if China make beer. I'm sure they do actually. I mean, tend to associate beer with things like Indian cuisine rather than Chinese cuisine. I have looped that through the wrong way. I thought I had. There we go. You know, and it has just occurred to me. Your comment there, Exilian. Anyway, cheers everybody. I was kind of thinking, I was kind of misreading that and thinking you were leaving. And of course you weren't. You were drinking your beer. So cheers. I'll be a bit slow today. Yeah. Chicken and curry with vegetables, local beer. Yeah. It's a long time ago now, but I generally Friday or Saturday I used to go with one of the with the next door neighbours, and we'd quite often go have an Indian meal of some kind, and he was the one that taught me actually you don't drink anything while you eat an Indian meal, if you're English that is and you're not used to it, because these people who have a curry, Indian cuisine, spiced Indian cuisine, who drink the water because it's too hot, spice wise, all they do is cause the next mouthful to be hot because they've just washed the palate. So if you find it too hot, just keep eating, and it kind of numbs you a little bit. But basically, if you find it too hot, don't be stupid and get hot curries. You get mild ones because they're tasty as well. They don't have to be spiced to the point where you take a mouthful and you can set paper on fire, as some people seem to think you have to do. Yeah. Well, it's an interesting rule is that Exilian. An interesting rule. I don't actually drink a lot. I don't mind drinking from that point of view. I do like beers and various beers and lagers and stouts, and I don't drink a lot of, well, I don't drink a lot anyway, alcohol wise, but I don't drink a lot of spirits. I do prefer actually I do prefer lagers most of the time, but from time to time I do enjoy some of the beers, the bitters and milds, and even things like Guinness. Actually I quite like the extra cold Guinness. You okay? Yep, you're okay. And I managed to close it anyway. That's good. That's number one. Let's put another one through. So I don't know if anybody is interested in buying jewellery as presents for anybody, but I will point out the coupon code that's across the bottom there. Might as well do some advertising whilst I'm showing you what I'm doing. See, you even get to see me actually constructing the things you can buy. So you know I'm not cheating. I'm not buying it from China or anything like that. They are actually hand constructed. Do you have any particular favourite beers, Exilian? Or is it just whatever looks good on the shelf at the time when you pick it up? I was just thinking then some of the real beer aficionados would be absolutely horrified at that statement. It just looked good on the shelf at the time. Yeah. Am I interested in buses? That's an interesting question. Eat more chips. It's an interesting question, and actually the answer to that is actually yes. One of the you may recall I make radio control models, and I have a tank, and I have some remote control articulated trucks. Oh, I've got one which sits behind me. You may see it from time to time. So you can't quite see it. No, you can't quite see it, but it does sit behind me. It's a 1/14 scale Scania is this one. One of the things I wanted to do was to make a remote control bus. It's an unusual model, and you can't. I was about to say you can't buy them commercially. Probably you possibly can, but not at that scale. And I've just closed that in completely the wrong place. Which means I'll be scratch building it. So I've sort of started doing some design work. I'm not done any for a while, but design work to for the chassis, and the fact that buses are a push rather than a pull. But I was thinking, I'm not sure whether I was going to do a double decker or a single decker, but I was going to do like a tour coach sort of thing you get rock bands have when they go touring around the country. Yeah, the sound of the bear, light beer. Yeah. Of course, this is the interesting thing. You see, in UK, beer is not what it is elsewhere. Elsewhere, people refer to beer when they talk about what we call over here lager. And beer is made from... It's made differently, he says, because for the moment I can't think now. It's made from hops, but I'm trying to think lager's made from hops as well. Or is it made? I can't remember. But there is a difference between them. I mean, beer tends to be brown and lager tends to be sort of clear. But of course the rest of the world calls beer that stuff. I quite enjoy trying different ones as well. Lady Zara used to get me at Christmas sort of selection packs. They are the sort of things that just available off the shelf, but they were really nice, trying different beers from different countries. Maybe a stagecoach bus. Are you in a Lego? Okay, basing it off an Arriva stagecoach. They're just the operators, unless you're copying the livery. Yeah. Oh, I didn't think about that, but it's a bit of, there's less scope for interior modelling with a public bus. It's just full of seats, and that's about it. When you get to sort of the tour coaches, you get beds, you get kitchens, you get TVs, pretty lamps, all sorts of stuff. Coffee machines, yeah, it's carpeted. So it offers a lot more scope for internal modelling. I just hadn't really decided whether I want 2 decks or 1. I closed those, forgot to close those, and right. And I appear to have completely miscounted rings somewhere along the line. So is that as long as I want it to be? Oh, almost. So that's, if I were to put that on there, that would be about that, and therefore that would be about 6.5 inches. Maybe I'll make this 7 inch. Let's join that to that. Since I've just about run out of rings anyway, it's not too much of a problem to open or close extra ones. There we go. So you go down there for the minute, and I will open these rings here, if I can find where the join is. And the join is there, and I just noticed the time, so I'll take that ring off. We'll join these two together. Come on. I literally cannot see a join on this ring. I know there is one, but I literally can't see it, and there it is. I couldn't actually feel it either. I'd managed to close the ring up so well that I couldn't actually feel the join. Now then, that I want to go through those two there and close that up again. I bet I don't get it that perfect again, but not bad. Put this one back on. Oh, come on. Alright. You're going to play games, aren't you? So first of all, make the gap wider. Then put it through the awkward rings first. Like that. And then through the easier ones afterwards. There we go, grab it, right. And close. I said close. There we go. Right, so what I've got there, when I find the end, is that the end? Yep, that's the end. Why does that look wrong? Why does that look decidedly weird? And just those two rings are out of the... Ah, that's what that one's wrong. Okay, I see. I'm about to fix something that I probably will be taking apart in a minute anyway, but we shall see. Another ring which is out of place. I can't get to that's it. Right, that's gone back into the right place. And close it back up. There we go. Grab hold of the end ring and tug, and it's back in place. That's good. So that's what we've made tonight. It's a box chain bracelet. Needs sizing, but it's a box chain bracelet. And with a just a little motif in the middle, just a Byzantine, so it reverses the box, so you've got a symmetrical pattern on both sides, which just gives it a little bit of a thing. Excellent. Okay, that's not a problem, because I'm about to say exactly the same thing. I'm about to close the stream. I've finished this for this evening. I may finish it off stream, but it's essentially done. And it's 10:15. It's a little bit past my normal stream time. Junior keeps moving this camera. So I was going to say cheers. Cheers everybody. Thanks for watching. I will point out two things. Junior's moving the camera again. That wasn't one of the things I was pointing out. I'm going to point out the shop. Oh, this camera's... I can't do it with a reversed camera. Etsy, zaragonart.etsy.com, the shop. There's a coupon code across the bottom there, giving you quite a nice discount. If you are interested in buying any of the jewellery for presents or even for yourself, right? Wear some of it. You can't buy that. You can buy that. Well, not that one. I can sell you that, but I have to sell you it as silver metal, not as sterling silver. Hallmark rules. And I'll point out zaragonart.com, which is my website as well. And you can find me on Twitter at Zaragonart. You can even find me on Facebook, Zaragonart. And you can even find me on YouTube, but you have to search for that, Zaragonart Studio, in order to find me, because it won't let me have a pretty URL until I get enough followers, and I don't have enough followers on YouTube. But anyway, it might happen one of these days, especially if I get more videos up there. Eat more chips. You gotta go as well. Good night. Great. Have a great evening. Thank you for dropping in. And I'm about to say thank you from the White Rose of Yorkshire. If you like the stream, follow. You get to see some more. You might get to see some of the other crafts like carving and pyrography and things like that. Or indeed follow me on Twitter for notifications when I go live or other interesting bits and pieces. Or just try tomorrow night, 8 PM UK time, 2000 hours UTC or GMT. And again, from the White Rose of Yorkshire. Thank you for watching. And if I can find my mouse, I'll play the outro. Bye for now.